Welcome back. World Non-Governmental Organization Day is celebrated every year on the 27th of February. The idea of celebrating this day was propounded to honor several non-governmental organizations and non-profit organizations that work toward the upliftment of society and in the retrospective world. To give us more detail on the day and its significance is Program Officer, Namibia Rural Women's Assembly, Toini Amaambo-Alumbungu. Good evening and welcome to the show.
Good evening and welcome as well.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
To start with, Toini, perhaps you can talk to us about, the significance that NGOs play in society.
Well, when it comes to NGOs, these are non-governmental organizations that organize themselves and they actually advocate for change in rural communities, in communities in general, in society as well. When it comes to NGOs, they do quite a lot. They give out the time, they give out the effort. They also tend to do a lot of work, such as, advocating, educating communities on education, politics, civics education, maybe women's rights and so forth. They do quite a lot in society just to make sure that, we understand our rights as community members, for example, or we perhaps just, know what we need to do as individuals in different communities and societies.
This year's commemoration, the theme is the role and influence of NGOs in advancing human rights and achieving sustainable development goals. Just talk to us about that theme and also in context to Namibia.
All right. When it comes to that theme, well, we're looking strongly at our sustainable development goals, of which last year we have also touched on, just to make sure that, as NGOs, we also do contribute to our sustainable development goals of the country and also globally, just to make sure that also we do include all aspects that we want to reach in our sustainable development goals. When it comes to NGOs, we have those that are in welfare, we have those that are in advocacy, and they all look towards achieving different goals. So sometimes you would find that we leave out this and one would be like, it's non-governmental organization. What else can they contribute? And we actually just want to leave a mark out there to show that we do a lot in terms of playing as also key role players in achieving our sustainable development goals of the country.
As you mentioned, people look at it as an NGO and how do they contribute? Do you think Namibians are cognizant of and understand, educated on the role of NGOs and civil society?
Well, to be honest, some do understand on the role that NGOs plays. Some do not understand, because that's why we are still having this celebration, just to advocate, showcase what we as NGOs do out there, and also to just, give out a mark that, we are still alive, we are still a movement, and we're still doing much to contribute to, be it the sustainable development goals of the country, and also just to play as key role players to make sure that the exchange are addressed in the different communities. And the other thing is that you'd find that some do not know, be it because in that specific community, if the NGO is not visible, because when we talk about NGOs, it's not an individual organization. This is like, we have civil society movement. It depends on how an organization wants to be called, be it a civil society organization, be it a private entity, be it a private sector. So they name themselves whatsoever, but in the end of the day, what we're actually looking at is, just making sure that our communities do know that NGOs are out there and we're doing quite a lot just to actually meet government halfway. Yeah.
And how was the day commemorated? Talk to us about the activities perhaps that were lined up.
Okay, thank you so much. When it comes to the activities that were lined up, we started today where we had the media conference press. Here we actually today met in the morning from 9:30 till 11:30 where we are at actually NIPAM. And when we actually met, we were at the House of Democracy and lining up with more activities. That is where just a group of NGOs came together. They sat and then they were looking at different issues and different aspects that they contribute towards the economy and towards the global society. And then the other lined up activity we have on Wednesday, that's going to be the 1st of March, we are going to have the World NGO Day celebrated as a conference where we'll be inviting all NGOs to participate. They need to participate, engage. Please come to NIPAM. That is where we are expecting all NGOs to be represented. It's going to be a workshop where government is going to interact with the NGOs just to show, to come up with a policy to see how we're going to work together. And then on Friday, on the 3rd of March, we're actually going to have the World NGO Day celebrated, where all NGOs are required to come. For me, I actually feel your ticket has to be your organization's t-shirt or your banner. You come with that, you don't need to pay a fee. As an NGO, we want us to come together, we want us to celebrate what we do, we want us to advocate, we want us to educate the communities on the special work that we do out there.
Fantastic.
Yes.
And that's happening on the 3rd?
That's actually happening on the 3rd, on Friday, and that is where we look forward seeing everybody and seeing different non-governmental organizations, civil society, private organization, private sectors, and so forth.
For any organization that would like to partake in this, lastly, how do they get in contact?
For any organization that would like to participate in this, we have various organizations that have been involved in the organization, the preparation of this whole celebration. We have Namibia Development Trust, we have NNF, the Nature Foundation. We also have other non-governmental organizations, such as we have the European Union. We also have civil society that have been also strongly involved last year as well as this year. We have WWF, and then we also have some other organizations such as DOA. But then for one to get information, or if you would like to, partake, if you would like to make sure your organization is represented, yes, you can perhaps go to, you can send an email to D, that stands for letter D, yes, and then you just say dandreas@nnf.org.na, dandreas@nnf.org.na. Or otherwise, you can contact any of the non-organizations that I've mentioned earlier, be it NACSO, be it Namibia Development Trust, NNF. You get all the information there.
Toini, thank you so much for your time, and all the best with the activities that you have planned for the week.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
That was Toini Alumbungu speaking to us this evening. Our conversations do continue after this very short break. Stay with us.